I think before I transitioned, I was like presumably hetero. That's kind of what I thought. And I would typically approach women because it was sort of like, this is traditional gender roles, right? And I uprooted my entire life to eventually transition. I was engaged, I was living the whole normal hetero normative life, and I ended my engagement and very quickly realized I was trans. And I kind of told myself, I'm like, listen, I just uprooted my entire life. Why don't I at least explore this? Otherwise, why I do any of that? So I'd rather just live authentically. It's a much better way to live. Now that came with its challenges, of course. You still have to sort of acknowledge that there's safety issues. There's all kinds of transphobia and hate in the world, unfortunately. But I found that the best policy is honesty, just up front. Funny because like that's an abstract thought at first when you transition, and then you start to like face it. And you can't tell in this interview, but I'm also an amputee, right? And navigating the world as a man that was an amputee versus a woman, where I typically am objectified or catcalled, whatever. That's another element like built in, right? You know, it's just the reality of it. And it's funny, you hear these like anti-trans folk that are, especially that are maybe cis women, to talk about like, well, you don't know what it's like to be a woman. In some ways, I can't get pregnant, for example. I don't have periods, but I've been sexually assaulted like other women. I've been talked down to at work, talked over at work. I didn't used to be talked over at work before. Taken less serious. At what point is there really a difference if I'm having the same experiences? I live in San Francisco. It's one of the most queer-friendly places in the country. So there's a part of me that's a little bit sheltered there. Um, but I'm very active online on different communities, and I have friends all over the country, all over the world. And when it's in the back of your mind all the time, it wears on you. I can put up a face all I want, but I think about it all the time. It's scary. I've had to think about, at what point do I have to leave? Do I ever want to leave? Do I want to fight? What does that look like? What can I do here on the West Coast, away from where a lot of things are happening? It feels very powerless at times. It's just unfortunate. There's just so much misinformation being spread. It's truly lies for whatever reason. We could sit here and speculate, talk about what those are, but it's just not true. And I just wish there was a way to show people that, like, hey, I'm just like everyone else. I'm just like everyone else. I have a job, a career. I have things I like to do. I have a family. I'm really close to my parents and my brothers. They love me. I'm an auntie. Like, that's all I want to do is just exist and be happy. You know, I'm not a danger to society. And I just wish people could understand that and see that. And I don't really know how to tell people that and convince them that. It's sort of like, again, like I said before, kind of hopeless at times when you kind of stare this thing down that's happening. I lost a lot of my guy friends before. It doesn't shock me. A lot of them just didn't know what to do with it. I have a couple of friends that stick around, but they have families and stuff. They're doing things with their life. But I think the friends I have now is a different quality, you know, whether it be they're trans or just being able to go deeper from my end allows them to be more vulnerable and go deeper as well, right? And I think it just builds for more authentic connection. And yeah, my interpersonal relationships are so much more fulfilling than they were before. I just want to navigate the world, continue to navigate the world as me, and continue to collect new experiences. And I'm really big on trying to be present and enjoy the moment for what they are. So one of my love languages is like quality time, and I just want to continue to have quality time with whoever, lovers, friends, whoever.